Hey friends, today I'm going to give you some tips on how to choose between buying a condominium or buying a house, and I'm going to get started right now. Hey everyone, my name is Jamey Prezzi. I'm a real estate agent in Miami and Miami Beach, and today I'm going to give you some tips on how to make a decision between buying a condominium or a single family home. But first, before I get started, I just want to tell you, if this is your first time here, hit the subscribe button so you never miss another update. I do put out new videos every single week. Also, if you're trying to decide between two different neighborhoods, I just did a video last week about Brickell versus South Beach. So make sure to watch that one when you're finished. Also, I've made a free relocation guide for you. Use the link below and register for the guide. You can download it, and I'll also add you to our weekly newsletter. So I think the first thing that you have to take into consideration when deciding between a condominium or a single family home in Miami or Miami Beach is your budget. Because ultimately that is probably what is going to determine what you can buy in our area. A single family home purchase in our area definitely has a certain price point, so you need to find out if that is a price point that you are comfortable spending. The next thing you may want to think about is if you are purchasing with financing, purchasing a single family home is usually a lot easier than buying a condominium with financing. And the reason why is because the condominium has that extra layer of the building needing to also get approved with the interior of the building's business. So just something to think about. It's not impossible, but it is an extra level of getting financing. And that's something that we can talk about in detail. Obviously, a single family home doesn't have that same level of qualification because you're not really buying in a building where there's a whole separate business going on internally. The next thing you want to think about in terms of buying a condominium or a single family home is the space. Are you a space person? Are you looking for some more space, more privacy, your own pool, your own area that you can entertain people and not have to register them downstairs with a building? So if that is something that's really important to you, to not have so many rules and regulations and dealing with other people inside of a building, you really may want to consider purchasing a single family home. On the other side, the great thing about buying in a condominium is that you really do have a lot of those extra services. Now, you do have to deal with some rules and regulations, and you may have to register to use the grill downstairs, but there is that level of, someone else is managing that for you. They're taking care of the day-to-day maintenance, and when you want to leave and go to New York, you just use your key, lock the door, and you're gone, versus living in a single family home where you need to do a little bit more management before you leave the property. Maintenance. Sometimes people say to me, I don't want to buy in a condominium because I just don't want to pay that monthly maintenance. The monthly maintenance usually covers a lot of expenses like insurance, utilities. Some buildings even have cable and internet included in their monthly maintenance packages. So if you are trying to determine between a house or a condominium, and really the maintenance is the one thing holding you back, just remember, with a single family home purchase, you will have maintenance items as well. You'll just be paying for them as you decide. That's something that we really should sit down and compare. Maybe you have one building you're very interested in and one neighborhood you're very interested in. I can help walk you through the cost of ownership between the maintenance of that condominium and the maintenance of owning that home. And ultimately, I have to tell you, it is really going to come down to your lifestyle. A lot of times people will say to me, I can't decide. But I think ultimately, deep down inside, you really know what you want. And there's always a way to get into a single family home or a condominium in our area. We have a lot of different options and many different price points. And I think it's just important to sit down with an experienced agent, and if you need financing, an experienced lender, so that we can create a process and a plan to walk you through so that you can make the best decision for you. Listen, if you're buying a condominium or a single family home in our beautiful city of Miami and Miami Beach, most likely you're not going to be disappointed. It's a beautiful place to live, and we have a lot of different options. And if you have any more questions, let me know. I'm always here to be a resource for you, and I will see you next week.